I'll give you the resolution of the Zen master story at the end of the video. So I've been living in a Zen Buddhist Kung Fu monastery in the south of China for the last 2 weeks. Now Zen Buddhism, or Chan Buddhism, which is the Chinese name, is the biggest form of Buddhism in both Japan and China. And it's also very secretive, as I found out last week when I tried to convince the master to share some of his wisdom on YouTube. So for that reason, I'm not actually allowed to show you the monks, but there's loads of interesting ways that the monks live that I'd like to share with you. Although some of the rules may seem arbitrary to you, it's all about trying to make it easier to be mindful, to be in the present while living here. So let's get into it. There's no need for an alarm at the monastery. At 5:30 each morning, one of the monks sings a wake-up song. Then between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m, it's time for chanting. Then it's time for breakfast. So this is the master's place. You're not allowed to eat until he comes in and says Ami Tofo. Ami Tofo has many different meanings. You can use it to say hello, to say goodbye, to say how are you doing, to say thank you. It's basically the equivalent of peace be with you in Christianity. It basically means the great wisdom of the Buddha. Everyone says it together, then he starts eating, then you're allowed to start eating. Okay, so play along with me here. You're imagining that we're having dinner. There's lots of dishes here. There's a big bowl of rice, some soup, and there's quite a few rules when eating. So I'll go through a few of them. So first of all, there are public chopsticks. So you're not allowed to use your own chopsticks to get from the public dishes. You have to use the public chopsticks and then put it into your bowl. All the food is vegan, so there's lots of tofu, mushrooms that are being picked from around the forests here. There's obviously noodles and rice, and there's baozi, which are stuffed buns, and sometimes they've got sugar inside, and so that's a real treat when we have that. So breakfast is between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. and it's cooked by 2 local ladies, which means the monks don't have to be thinking about what meal they're going to eat next. They can just focus on their kung fu or the other tasks that they have. Talking about tasks, at 9 a.m. we go off and do kung fu with some of the monks, and then the others do jobs around the monastery, either cutting wood from the forest or just helping cleaning and doing other jobs. Okay, so these are the toilets. They're communal, just a small divider separating each cubicle. So if you can't squat properly like some of the foreigners here, it's quite embarrassing because everyone sees your bum. Now, one great thing about the place is all the animals. So there's tons and tons of squirrels. They are fed the leftovers from our meals, so there's a whole army of very confident squirrels roaming around the monastery. And sometimes some of the locals will donate their animals to the monastery. So there was a rather large and beautiful rooster roaming around the monastery a few days ago, but I didn't manage to get a shot of it. So once all the kung fu and the tasks are completed for that day, then it's dinner at 6 p.m. So once Shufu says Ami Tofo, you eat in silence, and this is because you're trying to be mindful about the food that you're eating and really appreciating every moment. And there's even signs like this one reminding you to be quiet. And by the way, his head is so big because it represents the wisdom of a Buddhist monk. On the theme of being mindful, you've got to eat every single grain of rice. Even if you drop a piece of rice on the floor, you've got to pick it up and eat it. And this is supposedly because in every grain of rice, there is the sweat of the farmer who put the effort to bring it into your bowl. So you've got to be grateful for every single grain. And that's about it. When you're finished, you've got to bow and say Ami Tofo to literally every table, and then you get to pick up your bowl, go wash it up, and that's dinner. And then an amazing thing happens. One of the best things about this place is that after every meal, the Shufu sits there, and then all the monks and all the guests come sit next to him, and we either meditate or just talk about Buddhism. The Shufu often sets the foreigners chopstick-related tasks. So either it's a mindfulness task of placing rocks in and out of a bowl, or if you're holding your chopsticks wrong, he'll force you to hold a big rock for 20 minutes. It really burns the muscles. And finally, there's the rooms. So welcome to the humble abode. Here's the bed. It's actually surprisingly comfortable, if a bit squeaky. And check out the view. There's no electricity or lights in the room, so you always need a head torch. And men and women sleep separately to avoid that distraction. Then the next morning, bang on time, the gong rings again at 5:30 a.m. The life of a monk is cyclical. Every day is pretty much the same, and this is to make mindfulness even easier. You don't need to think about what's coming next. You can just live in the moment. So I hope you found that interesting, and sorry again that you had to just put up with my face the whole time, but thanks for watching. Okay, so the resolution of the Zen master story. I asked him a couple more times, but he kind of just laughed. He's a great guy, but he just doesn't want to be on camera, so fair enough. I've actually had a great couple of weeks. It's been really nice having no internet and just detoxing. I feel like all of us need to do that now and again. Now I'm back in the hostel in town, just gonna chill out, have a few beers, and soon I'll be back on my way to the Wudang Mountains to see Master Gu. We'll be reunited very shortly. Speak soon.